Good morning, Hacksters! Today we have a guest on the show. We have William Wadkins, who is the product manager for FPGA at Xilinx. Good morning, Will. What's up?
Good morning. How's it going?
Pretty great. Especially because we've got something to give away. So we're giving away, with Xilinx, for Freebie Friday, the Trenz TE0802, which is sold on Xilinx. Can you tell us a little bit about what it is?
Yeah, it's just a pretty run-of-the-mill, everything you need in one package MPSoC development board, and it's built around a Zynq UltraScale Plus.
Cool. So what is the intended purpose and audience for this board? Who is going to get this, and what are they going to do with it?
Yeah, it's really a great development board for getting started. And for those not as familiar with system on a chip or SoCs, that's a combination of programmable logic or an FPGA with a onboard processing system. For Zynq UltraScale Plus in particular, it is the equivalent programmable logic of an Arctic 7 or Spartan 7 device. And then it has on board the ARM Cortex A53 processor, as well as an ARM Cortex R5 processing system. And when I say that it's a good board for getting started, I kind of mean that in a couple different ways. So it would be great for somebody who's more new to SoCs or FPGA. You have everything you need to familiarize yourself with the technology and get started. Or even for a more experienced user, it would be great for getting started with your design, particularly with the UltraScale Plus portfolio. Package migration provides future proofing, so you can start on the device that's on board the Trenz TE0802, which is the ZU2CG, and easily migrate to other devices in the same family. So great for getting started, even for more experienced users there too.
Oh, that's awesome. So you can easily then migrate whatever projects you build on this to a more advanced board if you want to.
Exactly.
So cool. So I've got one of these over here, and I was going to ask you to tell us what are its key features and what are its advantages compared to similar boards.
Yeah, so like I said, from say maybe the perspective of a newer user, maybe they're just working on some simple combinational logic or test driving the processing system. There's a lot of I/O available on the board that they could do that without needing to add any additional hardware. So along the bottom of the board, for example, we have those dip switches. Just above those, they're kind of small in the picture, but LEDs, the 7-segment display, and then the buttons to the right. So you can interact with your design in a lot of different ways, like I said, without needing additional hardware.
Yeah, I love these buttons. These are so cool.
Yeah, that takes me back to my days in college. Definitely, I was making a lot of simple designs and being like, oh, if I flip these switches, then it does this to the LEDs, and yeah.
So good.
And then for the more diverse applications, there's also a lot of versatility with this board. So on the left side, we have a 3.5 millimeter audio jack, and then that's also right next to the VGA. And then along the top side, for another vision connectivity, there's the display port in the middle there. And then, of course, there's 2 PMOD ports along the side as well, which give a lot of customizability because you can add a lot of different sensors, other I/O devices, other connectivity interfaces right there, and there's tons of PMODs available. And then lastly, the additional interfaces. So there's a micro USB on the left side, as well as USB Type A along the top, and then Ethernet, as well as on the bottom side of the board, there's a PCIe expansion. And yeah, right there. And so with that, it's really flexible in terms of integrating it into a larger system or making it part of a larger embedded system as well.
Super cool. I'm going to switch back to my face here because we got a couple more questions about human interest. So what kind of applications do you expect to see people building with this? Obviously, it's a super flexible board. You could build all kinds of things with it, but just to sort of get the creative minds flowing.
Yeah, so like I said, it's definitely very flexible and adaptable. So I can see people building all sorts of things. The options are really limitless here, but the UltraScale Plus devices, or Zynq particularly, it's normally optimized for things like industrial motor control, sensor fusion, or IoT. So I expect to see a lot of things in those fields.
That's super cool. And what kind of support materials exist for people who are getting started with this? Obviously, it's a user-friendly, beginner-friendly board, and often that means that there'll also be some community support or resources for people who are getting started with this.
Yep. Yeah, so Trenz, the manufacturer of the board, they've put together a pretty thorough technical reference manual, which covers all the basic ins and outs of the boards. They also have provided reference designs that touch each of these interfaces and the peripherals that are built around the board that we talked about. So it's really easy to get started with all of those. The reference designs provide some tickle scripts, so you can very quickly get the project set up in Vivado. And then these resources in particular can be found through Digilent's Resource Center, which our customers are probably familiar with, or through Trenz's website. And then Digilent has also worked with some partners to put together a project that actually demonstrates running a Python application on the TE0802. So I recommend getting into that, especially if you're more on the software side of an SoC engineer, and we have a lot of plans to roll out similar content and keep that going.
Super cool. Now we have a question that says, what a beautiful electronic board. What is its price? And I'm going to pull up the product page here, but also the reason that we're telling you about this morning is because we're giving away a couple of these with Xilinx. So first up, in the description of this video, you can find a link to this product page, and that'll tell you the price as well as everything else that we've been talking about. You can find close-up photos and more information about the ports and things. And then also there's a link to the Freebie Friday page where you can just take a simple quiz, and then you'll be able to win one of these two TE0802 units that we've just been talking with Will about. So remember, just check out the links in the description to this video, and also we'll have another Freebie Friday next month. But I still have Will on the line here, so let's... is there anything else you'd like to toss in there about this board before we wrap up this morning?
Sure. One thing that I'll mention is that Digilent has a pretty good network of distributors. So for our US customers, we recommend just getting it through our website. But for our international customers, it's really convenient to check out the distributor stock. You can find that through the same store page, but then you get, faster shipping, not as much customs hiccups. So wherever you're at, this is a great board for you to be able to get.
Ah, great. And you mentioned a few learning resources. I wonder if I could grab those links for you afterwards, and then I'll throw those in the description of the video as well so people can kind of see what's available.
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. You heard it. We're going to put those links in the description as well. Thank you so much, Will. This has been awesome Friday morning. And everyone, remember to go to the link in the description to sign up for Freebie Friday, and you could win one of these beautiful TE0802 units from Digilent. All right. Have an awesome one. And thanks again, Will.
Yeah, great. Thanks, too. Have a good Friday.
You too.